Absolute fighter Alex Eala battles through injury before ASB Classic exit. Manila, Philippines. In the longest match of the ASB Classic, Alex Eala had to endure nagging lower back spasms to give herself a chance in the latter stage of the semifinals. However, China's Wang Xinyu proved too much in the final stretch as Eala ultimately bowed out of the Auckland tournament, 5-7, 7-5, 6-4, on Saturday, January 10th. Eala went down by 4 games twice in the match but could not complete the spirited comeback in the deciding set. Winning the game would have given Eala her second WTA Tour final stint since June 2025. It was a crazy battle from the start to the end, for sure. Wang said after the game that lasted 2 hours and 47 minutes. Wang then praised Eala for playing through injury and keeping her composure while facing adversity in the match. "She's an absolute fighter," said the 24-year-old Wang, who will be playing in her second tour final. Eala took a medical timeout in the third set due to a possible back injury after trailing 3-0. Down 5-1 again, Eala then went on to win 3 straight games, 5-4, before Wang salvaged the win in the 10th game. In the first set, the world-ranked number 53 Eala found herself in a 4-0 hole early, but managed to shake off jitters in the ensuing games to surge to a 7-5 win. The 20-year-old Filipino then showed cracks in the second set, as Wang won 4 straight games to force the decider. From there, the world number 57 Wang capitalized on Eala's back issues en route to the final. Despite the loss, the tournament showcased Eala's improved skills to start 2026, as she reached her third WTA semifinal ahead of the Australian Open. For now, Eala sets her sights on the Kooyong Classic in Melbourne, Australia, from January 13th to January 15th as her final prelude for the Australian Open. The stadium lights at the ASB Classic did not dim for pain. They glared, white and unblinking, as if daring anyone on court to falter. For Alex Eala, the lights were not just illumination, they were witnesses. Witnesses to a match that would not be remembered for the scoreline alone, but for the stubborn, burning refusal of a young fighter to surrender. Alex had learned early that tennis was not merely a sport of clean winners and elegant footwork. It was a language spoken fluently by pain, patience, and persistence. On that Auckland evening, her body spoke louder than her racket. Each movement tugged at an injury she had tried to silence, taped, iced, and mentally pushed into a corner. But injuries, like doubts, have a way of resurfacing when the stakes are highest. She stepped onto the baseline with a familiar calm, bouncing the ball as if rhythm alone could anchor her. From the outside, she looked composed, even serene. Inside, her leg throbbed with a dull insistence, a reminder that this match would demand more than skill. It would demand character. The first rally set the tone. Long, grinding exchanges stretched across the court, the ball slicing through the air like a metronome counting down her tolerance. Alex chased everything. Not because she had to, but because she refused to concede an inch of belief. Every sprint was a negotiation with her body. Every slide asked a question. "Can you give me one more?" She answered yes. The crowd sensed it. There is a particular hush that falls when spectators realize they are watching something raw. Not dominance, not perfection, but courage. The applause after her points was different, less polite, more urgent. They were not clapping winners, they were clapping resistance. Between games, Alex leaned on her racket, eyes closed, breathing measured. Pain is not dramatic when you are used to it. It becomes a companion, unwelcome but familiar. She did not grimace. She did not complain. She adjusted, shortened points, changed angles, thought her way through what her body could no longer do freely. This was where Alex Eala's true strength lived, not in her forehand, but in her mind. She had been here before. Not on this court, not in this tournament, but in moments where quitting would have been easier. A junior final lost by a whisker. A long rehabilitation session when progress felt imaginary. The quiet nights away from home, wondering if the dream demanded too much. Each memory stood behind her now, forming an invisible wall that pain could not breach. The second set was a test of willpower. Her opponent pressed harder, sensing vulnerability. Drop shots forced Alex forward. Deep returns pushed her back. The court felt larger, the lines farther apart. Yet Alex kept moving. Not smoothly, not effortlessly, but honestly. Every step was earned. When she held serve against the odds, she let out a small fist pump. Not celebration, but affirmation. I'm still here. Eventually, The body made a decision the mind did not want to accept. The injury tightened its grip. Shots lost a fraction of depth. Recovery slowed by a heartbeat. In professional tennis, a heartbeat is an eternity. The final game slipped away, not in collapse, but in quiet defiance. Alex fought to the last point, stretching for a ball she had no right reaching, sending it back one more time. When the final shot sailed long, there was no racket smash, no tears, just a slow exhale. She walked to the net, offered a firm handshake, and nodded to the crowd. The applause rose, not thunderous, but respectful. They understood. This was not an exit marked by weakness. It was an exit defined by resilience. In the locker room, away from cameras and cheers, reality settled in. Ice packs, medical assessments, honest conversations about recovery. For some athletes, this moment breeds frustration. For Alex, it planted resolve. Injuries heal. Lessons remain. Because an absolute fighter is not one who never loses. It is one who refuses to disappear when losing seems inevitable. Alex Eala left the ASB Classic without a trophy, but with something heavier and rarer, proof. Proof that she belongs on these courts not just because of talent, but because of heart. Proof that when her body limits her, her spirit expands to compensate. The road ahead would demand patience. Rehabilitation would test her in quieter, lonelier ways than any match. But she would face it the same way she faced that night in Auckland. Head up, eyes forward, unwilling to surrender the long game. The lights eventually dimmed. The court emptied. The tournament moved on. But the image lingered, a young athlete playing through pain, not for glory, but for pride. An absolute fighter, walking off not defeated, just delayed.